Blarb water. Coom. Exclamation.
Coomph.
Moo. Coom.
We're gonna do Jasmine that next.
Coomph.
Coom. Let's go over here underneath these pines. So, Diane Sims has expressed an interest amongst many other drain-damaged people. What?
Bug.
About continuing. There we go. Put the sun over here. Now you come this way. We're good at this. Selfie stick. Hold on. Don't drop the phone. There we go. Okay. Amongst many other people about continuing in the Get Squared Away series. So the first one was an overview. The second one was spirituality. And the third one, which we're doing right now, you have no idea what we're about to talk about, do you?
I don't.
I was like, I'm going to go shoot a video. She's like, can I come? I was like, sure. You have no idea. Gainful employment. Being gainfully employed. It's one of the signs of adulthood that I see people either nailing or not nailing. So, gainful employment means that you're doing something that pays your bills, that hopefully is fulfilling to you, and that is providing a stepping stone in your life from where you are to where you need to be. So, like, working the line at McDonald's is not really gainful employment. That's like an entry-level job, and if you stay there for too long...
Well, I mean, you might really enjoy McDonald's.
Well, I agree, but what I'm saying is if you stay there for too long at that level, you're not being gainfully employed. You're stagnant.
Right. Work your way up through the Mickey D's.
Yeah, and the thing is, though, like, you can be up here and get knocked down to here and have to start over again. I've done that a few times in my life. But it's understanding that where you're at is a stepping stone to the next thing. Not
just be a cheeseburger. Be
Don't-
a Big Mac.
don't-
Or a Whopper. No, Whopper's Burger King.
a Whopper.
Yeah.
Don't just be a cheeseburger, be a Big Mac.
Yeah.
That's what you just said.
Yeah.
You need to project your voice. Because I'm so loud.
I'm not.
Well, I'm so
Why do you
loud.
have a YouTube channel?
I'm so loud that people set their volume based upon my voice, and then other people talk like you and Squid, and they have to
Okay.
turn it up to hear them, and then I start talking and they have to turn
And
it
you
down.
blast them.
And I blast them. So, gainful employment, right? Number one, use where you're at as a stepping stone for where you want to be. Like, have a game plan. Where am I going? What am I doing? How am I getting there? Would you agree?
Yes.
Because, like, talk about your Lowe's experience, right? You started at Lowe's doing what?
I was a lawn and garden loader.
Lawn and garden loader.
Yes, I got to spend my weekends loading bags and bags and bags of dirt and compost and mulch. And it was fun.
It's one of the reasons you're tough.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then went to, I was a cashier, got moved inside, and was a cashier for a little while.
Right.
And then, I mean, I could go into everything I did.
And then you were you worked in certain departments, right?
Well, I was a specialist.
Okay.
So I worked in home decor and paint and flooring and appliances and cabinets, and then I got moved to department head, and I was department head over electrical and plumbing and flooring and appliances and cabinetry and
And eventually ended up as a what? Where did you land?
I was a assistant store manager within 3 years of employment, and I was one of the youngest ASMs that they had, and my goal from there was to be one of the youngest store managers that the company had.
And then life happened.
Right, I was 24, and then, yeah, life happened.
Life happened.
Kids happened, and you have to reprioritize your priorities and life. And so I stepped down from that position because it required a lot, and continued my journey throughout the departments to basically learn everything that I could. Because you meet a lot of contractors, you meet a lot of people that are doing things the short way, the easy way, not necessarily the right way. And that's where I gained a lot of my how-to knowledge. And then
so you were gainfully employed at Lowe's.
Yes.
Because you started as a loader, outside
Right.
loader, and you ended as an assistant store manager in 3 years.
Right.
Because you applied yourself and opportunities existed.
Yeah.
So I think, like, I see two key aspects there. Number one, you applied yourself.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
you showed up early, stayed late, did everything that needed to get done, you performed.
Yeah.
And then number
And I
two,
challenged myself because I knew, like, I'm the type of person, if I do something for too long and not really learn anything new, I get very bored and very stagnant.
Yeah.
Like, I've got to constantly be challenged for something, which is why I guess I love homesteading so much. It's always
there's a challenge around every corner.
Right.
Yay! But
Always something new.
So number one, you performed. And number two, you performed in an environment that allowed you to grow, right? To move up. So it's both aspects. It's on your end, you need to show up and do the work. But it also has to be on your employer's end. Like, you can be a great employee at a bad business, you're not going anywhere.
Right.
Right? And you can be a bad employee at a great business, you're not going anywhere.
Right.
So there is a relationship there in between you and your employer, or whoever you're working for.
Right.
And if you're self-employed, it's all on you. It's all your fault. I mean, and under the guise of extreme ownership, it's all your fault anyway, because if your employer sucks, you need to change employers.
Right.
So that's what I mean by gainful employment, is that exactly. How do you...
Or you need to let them know. Like, I had to do that with my managers, and
that's a good point.
when I wasn't in the managerial position anymore, of saying, hey, okay, I'm kind of hitting a funk where I need something. I need to learn something else. I need to move on. I need a challenge, what have you. And, you know, a good manager will listen. And because not every employee is the same. And I tell you all this time, like, you have to change your managerial attitude for different employees, because some employees need to be beat over the head.
They need this.
Right.
Roar!
Some just need a talking to. Right. And so you've got to be multifaceted when you're a manager over several to, you know, hundreds of employees.
And as well as you say that, I sum all of that up into this. When you're a hammer, every problem looks like a nail.
Right.
Sometimes the problem isn't a nail. Sometimes the problem is a screw, and you're not helping it by beating it with a hammer.
Right.
Although I tend to be a hammer. Because you can make a screw move if you hit it enough times with a hammer. True. But also, getting back to gainful employment,
Right.
you learned cabinet design from Lowe's.
Yes.
You are now a senior cabinet designer
Right.
at a pretty dang good company.
Right.
Because of what you learned there.
Yeah.
Right? And interior design, you've always had a passion for.
Right.
You're a totally BA interior designer, and you used a lot of what you learned there. Like, when we first met, I was like, you're pretty cool. And you were like, I want to start a construction company. I was like, pshaw, girls don't do construction company stuff. And you're like, oh, well, I'm going to do it. And I was like, I think I love you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she's totally BA. And you used the skills that you learned from there in a gainful employment environment to get better and advance yourself, right? So it's opportunity plus initiative.
Yeah.
You had the initiative and you took advantage of the opportunity.
Right.
So,
and all of that past experience helps me with what I do now, because I walk into, well, I don't really walk into houses anymore, but when we were in Texas, I was the primary contact for clients, and they'd have these kind of grand ideas and think that they'd want things done this way, and a lot of contractors and designers just kind of take what their clients want, whether it's a good idea or not, and implement it, and then 6 months, a year down the road, the homeowner's like, why did I do it this way? And so I would I would be honest, and I would tell a lot of people, like, that's not a great idea.
Many times.
And this is why. And you have to think about this stuff when you're dumping $60,000 into a project. You don't want to have to do it over again.
Ugh.
And so,
how many times though? When we say we're working on a house in Dallas, most people imagine like a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, single-story brick home. No. Imagine a football field. Now build it 3.5, 4 stories into the air, right? With like one house had fire lions. They had 5-ton stone lions that flames shot out the top of their head. Right. Not exaggerating. Yeah. Okay, so these huge multi-million dollar houses, literally the most expensive houses in Dallas we work in. And many times you would see the plans and go, oh hell no. No.
Yeah,
no. And you would have to sit down with the end user, the homeowner, and the design team from the builder and be like, look, I don't know what you guys are thinking. And see, your gifting is that your speech is so much more polite and flowery than mine. Right. But to paraphrase what she would say, she'd go, y'all are idiots. This will never work. We're not doing it this way. Yeah. But you have the ability to tell somebody to go to hell where they look forward to the journey. Right. They're like, oh, that's a great idea. And I'm like, no, y'all are idiots. We're not doing this.
Harmony.
Right.
I bring
and my name,
very harmonious atmosphere.
My names literally mean, the T and the J literally means gift from God and strength. Yeah. It doesn't mean anything about politeness or flowery or anything like that, because I'm not. But you have learned and done so much because of your gainful employment. Yes. Right? Yeah. And ambition meets opportunity. Right. And so that's what I mean by gainful employment. If you're not in that environment now, step 2 of getting squared away, number 1 is spirituality. We talked about that. Yeah. The next thing for me in my hierarchy is gainful employment, because once you get to the gainful employment aspect, it allows you, like, we wouldn't have this that we have now without gainful employment, and a huge blessing on behalf of the father and grandma. That's a fact, right? But we wouldn't be able to keep what we have right now without gainful employment. Maintain it.
Yeah, I mean,
the Bible says,
we'd be spending a lot of money.
Raise your children up in fear of the Lord. Well, you have to raise them, right? Right? If they're starving, it's hard to raise them. So you need to be gainfully employed to feed your family, pay your bills, all of that. So there's absolutely a balance with all things, but you have to be gainfully employed. If you don't have money coming in, and if you're not in a position where you can get better, you can get quarterly bonuses, or you can get raises, or you can grow your compensation, grow your skill set, move forward, you're not gainfully employed. So ultimately, we talk about extreme ownership. Ultimately, it's all your fault anyway. It's all my fault anyway. My situation on my worst days where I'm like, screw that guy, screw that guy, screw that guy, this sucks, that sucks, I want out. Right. It's all my fault, because I have 2 feet, not roots. I can leave whenever I want to.
Right. If you're going to work for the rest of your life, do something you enjoy. Like, don't go through your life miserable.
Good job, Ecclesiastes.
Because
And this I count full joy, that a man should eat, drink, and enjoy the fruits of his labor. Everything else is vanity and grasping for the wind.
right.
So,
Yeah. I mean, you hate it, but you make a lot of money.
yep.
What's more valuable?
We've been there too.
Your money or your happiness?
Yeah,
So,
made 6 figures, good 6 figures doing wind power and federal contracting, and not interested.
Yeah.
I'd rather I make significantly less now than I did doing that. But look what we have. Look what I have. Look at this. Right? So, gainful employment. You got anything else to add?
No.
No? Me either. Ultimately, it's all your fault. But the good news is you're you, so you can affect change. I see you. I feel you. What are you doing to me? What are you doing? Look at this selfie stick. Pachong.
Yeah, don't.
Thank you, Lois and Gordy. Y'all are cool.
You are.
Yep. All right, cool. So that's part 2. It's part 3, actually.
Say,
Rule 2.
3.
Yeah. Part 1 is the overview. Part 2 is spirituality. Part 3 is gainful employment. So stick around. We're going to try and do one of these a week so that we can keep this series going. So, shalom.